just to give you guys quick action-packed quips here. Number one interview tip is research not only the position that you're applying for, but also the company. So that way, when you look prepared, you know the ins and outs of what the position requires as far as day-to-day skill sets, qualifications, and also research the company. Know what they stand for, what their mission is, what their values are, and align yourself with the company's mission and values because they want to see a candidate who fits in to the company well and is an asset to them. So make sure that you are well read on both the company and the position. It'll make you seem super prepared and super ambitious and ready to take on your next challenge. So that's always a good thing. Tip number two, focus on how you will fit into the company and what value you bring. Okay, as a hiring manager, why do I want to hire you? Make sure that you are giving me reasons other than what you put on your resume. Expand upon them in your interview and tell me why you would be a good fit here and why hiring you is the best decision I've ever made. Okay, so be confident, speak confidently, speak slowly. If you do get a little bit anxious or unsure of the answer to the question, it is okay to pause, take a deep breath, gain control, and then respond. A question that we often get when we talk about interviewing is, what if I don't know the answer to the question? And it's okay. There's a reason that hiring managers ask specific questions, and a lot of times the reason is because they want to see how the candidate does, how quickly they can think on their feet, how they act under pressure. So if you don't know an answer to a question, it might be a strategic question that the hiring manager asked with knowing that for that purpose because they wanted to see how you respond. So if you don't know the answer to a question, it's okay to take a step back and say, I don't have a lot of experience with whatever the question was about, but I plan on doing X, Y, and Z. So show that you're proactive. If there's a gap in your knowledge or experience for the position that they're trying to fill, have a proactive plan in place, how you plan to overcome those gaps so that you can fill that position and do everything you need to do on a daily basis. So again, when you are being questioned by an interviewer, know that they are asking specific questions for a reason. And think of the why behind the question, not just the questions itself. So even if you don't know the answer, don't get flustered, don't get upset, take a deep breath, step back, be honest. Maybe you don't have experience with that specific part of the job. And again, have a proactive plan in place that shows how you are going to gain those skills and knowledge so that you can be the ideal candidate for that position. Okay. All right. The next tip I want to give you is to be prepared with specific examples in mind of things that you have done in your current position or previous positions. So that might be direct patient care, that might be projects that you've worked on, committees you've been a part of, but have specific scenarios and specific examples in mind that you can use as answers for the questions that you're going to be asked. When you answer a question, the proper way to do it, or the best way to do it, that's the most expansive and gives the most information in an organized way, is to use the STAR approach. And the STAR approach stands for situation, task, action, and result. So when you are forming the answer or the response to the question, first talk about the situation. So what was happening, what you were asked to do, the task, so your responsibility, the action that you took, what you did to overcome either the issue or the problem, and then the result, so the outcome. Okay, so situation, task, analysis, or situation, task, action, results. What you did, how you overcame a problem, and then the result or outcome. And sometimes it might be a negative result or outcome, and they might specifically ask a question trying to lead you to talk about a situation in which maybe you didn't, have the best answer or response or complete the best action. So if it's a negative outcome to that situation, that's okay. But you're going to follow that with what you learned from that negative outcome and how you plan to tackle that challenge in the future in a different way that will lead to a successful outcome. Okay, so use a STAR approach to answer your questions in an organized fashion. Speak slowly, take deep breaths, and just be confident. You got this. You got this. Okay. The other thing you should always do at the end of an interview is you ask questions to follow up. Okay. You're also interviewing them to make sure that it's an ideal place for you to work. So ask questions about the work culture, ask questions about performance evaluations, ask questions about continuing education or room for growth. What does a day look like typically? What are the room for flexibility? Things like that. Be interested in the company and show that, because that's going to show that you're proactive. As a hiring manager, I want to bring on a new employee that is interested in the work and the organization and the facility, not just somebody who looks good on paper. I want a well-rounded candidate. And even if I have somebody who has all the qualifications, if they're missing, the people skills and the soft skills and the leadership and the emotional intelligence and those things that we can't necessarily showcase on paper, but really come out during an interview, I'm going to go with the person that has those soft skills because I can train them on the hard skills. But I can't teach somebody to be empathetic, or I can't teach somebody to have a high level of emotional intelligence, or at least I don't want to. I want to hire somebody that already has those soft skills. And again, I can tell from an interview, from the conversation that I'm having with the potential candidate, whether or not they possess those soft skills. So another really cool little bonus tip that I want to give you, and you can actually start the interview doing this. So when you sit down and you're introducing yourself, it's a good idea to say, what on my resume caught your eye, or what skills, experience, knowledge on my resume caught your eye and compelled you to call me in for an interview, because that kind of puts them a little bit on the spot and they're telling you exactly why they called you in and what they're looking for. And you're making them almost commit to telling you that you're a good candidate for these reasons. So just kind of a little, if you're comfortable and you want to do that, you can always say, I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait to have a conversation with you. Can I ask you a really quick question? What did you see on my resume that compelled you to bring me in? And they'll commit to some answer, because obviously something caught their eye, and that's a good conversation starter. And it kind of gives you a little bit more control, and you know exactly what they're looking for, and you can expand upon those things that they saw. And finally, when the interview is over and you say goodbye and you leave, make sure you are following up. So this could be an email a couple days later, thanking them for taking the time out of their day to meet with you. Recap the things that you talked about in the interview, especially your achievements and your accomplishments. Kind of bring that back to them and remind them of all those great things about you, and be patient. The average length of time for the entire job search, so I'm talking from initial resume application all the way to actually being offered a position, is 3 to 6 months on average. So some places, I'm not going to name specific companies, but some places will call you in for an interview and say, great job, we're so excited, you're an awesome candidate, you'll be hearing from us soon, and then ghost you for a few weeks. We've had this happen to several clients, and it can be very disheartening, but just be patient. And don't get so focused on one single company that you miss out on other opportunities that are presenting themselves, because you have this one company that you ideally want to work for, because you could miss out on other great things if you have blinders on. So stay vigilant. Keep applying, even if you had a great interview. If you're not going to hear from them for a few weeks, keep applying to other positions. It doesn't hurt to do additional interviews and see what else is out there. It also gives you more confidence. The more interviews you do, the more confidence you get, and the more you learn about or learn the strategies and things that will make you a great interviewer. Because again, a lot of us struggle with interviews. It's a lot of pressure, especially panel interviews. I'm not sure if any of you have ever experienced a panel interview. My first interview straight out of college was a panel interview. So I sat across by myself. We were at a long table, and there were 6 clinicians, supervisors, 6 people across from me. And I was by myself, and they shot me questions one after another, boom, 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 down the line. So, especially in that situation, that can be really stressful. That position, I specifically want to talk about that interview actually, because I ended up getting that position because I went the extra step. And I did not have any direct experience in the context I was applying to, which was acute care. So I interviewed well. They said it went well. I was a new graduate, went home, followed up couple days later, email, didn't hear back, waited a little bit longer. I think I sent another email, and I finally got some feedback, and they said, we thought you were great. However, you don't have any direct experience in this context, and we would hate to bring you on, have you not like it, and then quit. So I said, you're right, I don't have any experience, but I am more than willing to come in and shadow or observe for free. So nothing, they didn't have to do anything other than set it up to see if it's a context that I would like. I think I would do really well in this context, and I'm willing to go above and beyond to show you that I am committed to this position. So anything like that too shows a hiring manager that you are proactive and ready to take on your next challenge. So I'm trying to keep this short. We're about to hit 14 minutes, so I'm doing well. If you have any interview questions, you can put them in the comments. Joni and I can answer them. We're in the group all the time. We also have interview resources up on the website, and we do mock interviews. In the coaching program, we commit an entire week to interviews, and you get all of our interview resources. We give you questions to practice answering, and we even conduct mock interviews with some of the people that go through the program who are interested. We'll do one-on-one. We'll ask you questions, have you respond, give you feedback. And most people think everyone who's done it has said it's been extremely helpful, because it kind of gives you that practice and that repetition, so that when you go in for the real interview, you are prepared, you know what you're going to say, you have action scenarios already in your head, you have situations at the tip of your tongue, so that you don't get, inside your own head and freeze up, because you've done it already over and over and over again. So the more practice, the more times you do it, the more confident you get.